Good evening, everyone. I'd like to begin by thanking the family, relatives, friends, colleagues, guests, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to my dad's life and memorial service of Robin Co. Suan. Tonight, I will share with you on how Robin, or nicknamed Bino, lived. Time. Pops was a loving husband and a father. He is generous, kind, giving, knowledgeable, and resourceful person that I've ever known. And I know many of you would agree. Robin C. Suan was born on October 30, 1947 in Manila. He was one of 8 siblings coming from very humble beginning in Malabon, a city located north of Manila. Life for Robin was not easy. His father was just starting off a confectionery business, and his mother was not able to work as she would look after the siblings and home duties. He would always share his childhood experience with us, with the family, on how he commuted to and from school using public transport, rain or shine, hanging behind jeepneys when he had no change. And when his mother would prepare dinner, making chicken soup using 1 chicken leg, and using the same chicken leg to cook chicken stew, and then divide the soup and the chicken stew between 8 siblings. One of his saying when we were kids was, be thankful on what you see on the table. And there's nothing not nice when you're hungry or you work for it. Pops always reminded us on how lucky we are. Thank you. No, it's okay. Pops always reminded us on how lucky we are. Meals prepared before arriving home, a roof over our heads, and private transport to accommodate our schedule. He would always say to us, "Only the best for my children." He tried and gave us the best there is, so we don't have to endure what he had gone through during his childhood. This is Pops. Robin C. Suan went to St. Beda and graduated with business degree. He was a university scholar. While studying, Pops would work in his father's factory with his brothers during the day, making lollies and sago, they call it boba now, and would go to university at night. I asked him once, "How did you do it?" He looked at me and gave me a simple answer. I had no choice. When you want it, you go for it. And I think this is where we got us siblings, his relentless and hard-working attitude. He is 100% an entrepreneur until Robin Suan is 100% an entrepreneur. Until last month, he was still thinking and dreaming of starting another business. He started his own business in 1966. His first business was an auto supply, which he commenced in February 21, 1966. Pop loves his car, from his Volkswagen Beetles to his 185 horsepower, 5.7-liter Chevrolet Camaro. I remembered Mom would ride in the car and come out dizzy. I'm not sure whether it's the speed or how low the vehicle was. He would normally speak to me and my brother about pistons, crankshafts, gearboxes, gaskets, and manifolds. And me and Russell would just look at each other blankly. After 10 years of operating his auto supply business, in 1976, he then followed his father's footsteps and got into confectionery manufacturing. The business started off with one machine which he borrowed from his elder brother. And after 10 years, he was running 6 machines with 100 employees working for Pops. Before we migrated here in 1993, the business was running with 10 machines with 150 employees. He enjoyed going to work and doing the round in his factory. He also had a rule that whenever a mother with a newborn child visits his factory, he would give, with no miss, $100 to buy milk and food for the baby. That's how generous he is. On Saturdays, we would go to Divisoria, a central market in Manila, to collect money from the customers. I divided Divisoria into 2 sides. Customers that can speak Chinese and customers that can speak Tagalog. I'm not fluent in Chinese, so I give it all to him. And the ones in Tagalog, I collect. And after our work is done, he would ask me to choose which hawker stall we would eat. That's another hobby of Papa. He loves to eat. In 1975, Pops met my mom, Teresita, while holidaying in Zamboanga. It was love at first sight for my mom. He used to tell us, jokingly, that Mom would call him at night and talk for hours. In February 21, 1976, they got married in Cebu City. They have 3 children, myself, Princess, and Russell, by accident. This year, they celebrated their 47th wedding anniversary, and I used to ask Pops, "What did you see in Mama?" He would then respond, "It's not what I saw in her. It's what she saw in me." Macho. So, masculine. In 1993, we migrated to Perth. Initially, it was only me and my sister. Princess was enrolled into me and Princess was enrolled in boarding school. She goes to St. Hilda, I go to Hale. And I asked Pops, "Why do you want us to go to Australia and study?" And he told me, "The other night, I asked you to write a letter to my supplier in Taiwan. And after 3 hours, you haven't written a single word. That's my reason." I know he's still listening, so now this is more than a letter to your supplier. Pops. Now you have a choice, he said. You have an opportunity. And I'm giving you the choice to live differently. While Mom was packing our luggages, our flight was the next day. Pops was busy doing his chores outside the house maintenance, cooking, etc. He then came into the room and saw my mom in tears. He asked, "Why are you in tears?" My mom responded, "Our family will be separated." Without any hesitation, Pop said, "Okay, if that's the case, we all go." He was ready to leave his business, his house, put everything on the line, and go to Australia for his children. He always had a famous saying, "One for all for one." After a month, we flew. Pops didn't have too many hobbies. He doesn't gamble, drink, but only smoke. I guess he's limited his hobbies to have unlimited time with the family. His main outlet in life was his family, fixing stuff around the house, cooking and taking the whole family out. He was a family man, and everyone close to our family would know that. It's like what I've said. Pops always stayed outside the house. He has his own dirty kitchens where he would smoke, listen to his music, and cook 24/7. It's a proven fact. Manila, House, Bull Creek, and Como all had dirty kitchens. My most unforgettable memory of Pops is the time when he cooked outside, and his standard operating procedure was to call me and Russell out and taste the food. He then asked us both to move some of the empty luggages underneath his work table because he had back pain. The working table was in our garage. He used to have, in that corner table, underneath the table was empty luggages, and above the table were his tools. There were a lot of empty luggages stacked under the table. Both garage doors were open, and both the cars were parked outside. So me and Russell were moving the luggages one at a time. Every time we moved the luggage, Pops would step back and step away. In my head, I'm not sure with Russell's head, what is this guy up to? The luggages are empty and it's not even heavy. Until we got down to the last one. I turned around and Pops was around 6 meters away from me. He was pointing at the last luggage. On his right hand was a broom, and on his left was a wooden stick. Then it clicked. As soon as I turned around, there's a mice. The mice ran in one direction, and the three of us ran the opposite direction. No matter how strong he was or courageous, Pops was cheeky and always afraid of mice. Robin ko si Suan, a loving husband, a father, and a grandfather, a role model and a hero to us all, a good provider, a person we could always count on, a good listener and advisor. The world is a sadder place without you, Pops. You have touched each and every one of us here and have left us with fond memories that we will cherish forever. Pops, you have raised us well, and your love will always be imprinted in our hearts. We would be lucky enough to be half the man you are. Until we meet again, Pops, may you rest in peace, and we love you. Thank you.